Hi everyone, and welcome to our first live training session. For those who don't know me, my name's Paul, and I'm the CEO of Pillar and Scroll. Our plan is every Tuesday we'll be running a short 15-minute live training session on a specific legal marketing topic, and I'll be recording the training part of this, and then after that I'll hit stop, and then I'll open it up to Q&A for another 15 minutes or so. The idea of these sessions is it will be extremely practical, and for every session we'll have some sort of takeaway resource that you can implement into your firm as you like. So today we're going to walk through a tool and a process I've created that will help you create a content style guide for your law firm's marketing. So let's get stuck into it. So our marketing content style guides are made up of kind of three areas, and they are style, tone, and standards. So the style is how you form the content. So that's kind of like how you structure the sentences. Do you use technical language, or do you use more sort of like commercial language? Do you go deep on topics or prefer more like actionable summaries? Then we'll look at tone, and tone's more the emotional undercurrent, really around like how do you want someone to feel when reading your content. And then finally, there's standards, and they're more like the hard rules and the conventions around the words that you use. So, for example, it might be the titles that you use at your law firm, or the names of your practice areas, or perhaps something even a little bit more dull, but like how you format your phone numbers and addresses. So today's part one, we're going to cover style and tone today, and then we'll look at the standards section in part two of this training. We wouldn't be able to fit it all into 15 minutes if we looked at all of them. So we'll have a look at the current process of how an article gets published, say, on your firm's website. And the usual kind of path is pretty straightforward. It's the lawyers will draft an article, and then a human will do the editing, so the style and tone, and the proofreading, which would be like the standards and kind of getting the correct grammar. And then you go ahead and publish the article. So today, the slight change we're doing to that is we're going to have, the lawyers are still going to be drafting an article. We're going to create a marketing content style guide using ChatGPT and another AI tool called Claude. And pairing them together, we're going to use an AI prompt to then do that editing for us. So that will make everything consistent and in your firm's style guide, and then you can go ahead and publish the article. So process, and this will be provided to you after the training, is so it's a 5-step process, and I'm going to walk you through each step. So the first is we've created a custom GPT that's going to walk you through a questionnaire and help you build that first draft of the content style guide. So here it is, and this is live, so it's always a little scary working with AI, but let's see what happens. Okay, so it's going to introduce itself, and it's going to say what we're going to do. We're going to focus on the style, tone, and standards. Obviously, we're only focusing on the first two to begin with. And it's going to ask you a bunch of multiple choice questions. Unlike if this was a coded tool without AI, you would have to like pick from the multiple choices, and that was your only options. But with AI, you can actually ask for more context or provide alternative answers. One of the really cool things I think is that you can actually upload samples of content that you've already done or already produced and say, well, what do you think of the style and tone of this? Like, how would you interpret that? Which is pretty cool and a bit of a shortcut. So let's go through the tool. So the first question is, where's your firm's primary location? So I'm going to say Australia. Okay, what language style do you want to use? We're going to go British English. Okay, so I'm going to use a fictitious law firm called Pearson and Schmidt Lawyers. And they are a technology law firm that works with mid-sized companies for context. Do you have a shortened version of your firm name? Yep. B. Go by P&S Lawyers. All right, and when do you use that shortened version? Internal communications, social media. After the first mention, actually D, and I've got some pre-prepared responses, so you don't have to watch me type. I'm going to say we use it everywhere outside of formal communications like invoices, agreements. Cool. So that gives you a little bit of summary and it says, do you want to proceed to the style questions? Yes. Okay. So sentence style. I'm going to go through this quite quickly, but you'll have as much time as you like when we send you the link for the tool. So we've got direct and punchy, sophisticated and detailed, dynamic. I'm going to go A. Technical language. Do we want it accessible, technical, adaptable? So our clients in this example are technology companies. So I will go A and C. Okay, content organization. Do we want it structured, flowing, traditional, legal? I think bullet points is good in this instance. Reader engagement, interactive, illustrative, factual. I like the sound of all of them. So that, all of the above. Says, okay, cool. Topic depth, definitely exec summary style. So let's copy the whole thing. Okay, argument presentation. How should we present arguments? Educational, authoritative, consultative. So in this instance, I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT, and I'm just going to copy and paste an article. This is a real article from a firm in the US, but what we're going to do is say, I'm not sure, got this article which our law firm wrote, and I think it best sums up how we make arguments. What do you think? So it gives you an answer of what it thinks, saying it's a blend of authoritative and educational. Yes, go with that. Oh. And the final style question, I'm going to go with, they all sound good as well. All of the above. Cool, so that's style. It's given a bit of a summary so far. And now we're going to move to tone. Authority level, so, okay, remember this is more the feeling side of things. So this one I'm going to go knowledgeable guide. I'm going to go for emotional warmth. I want to be an engaging partner. Obviously gives you a few examples so you can kind of get a sense of what it means. Industry expert. What we do, we focus on tech clients in this fictitious firm. Confidence, we want to be, I think, measured in that one there. A couple more questions to go. Client guidance. How would you like to guide your clients? Directive in this instance. How are we positioned in the market? I'd say that one there, practical partner. Okay, and the innovation stance. I think we're progressive, so progressive. Okay. So now it's giving a bit of a summary for that section, the tone section. And now it's going to say, do we want to proceed to the standards questions? Now we're going to do that in part 2. So I'm going to go skip the standards questions. Please proceed to build it. Okay. So now what that's going to do is produce this content style guide. So the second part of this process is a bit unorthodox, but I found it to work really well. And that's what we're going to do is copy and paste this entire transcript in from ChatGPT that we've just created and then add it into Claude. So I found Claude to be so much better for writing really good content. ChatGPT is really good for doing like so maybe a first draft or using it for like Excel and programming and stuff, but Claude is really great for writing. So what we're going to do, that's still spitting it out, and I'm going to copy this entire thing here, and we're going to paste that into Claude. We're also going to paste in this document here, which is the prompt that I've built that actually sets up that tool. So it's going to give Claude the whole background of all the questions and how we want the guide structured. So I have that over here. So I'm attaching that. And then I'm going to copy and paste this prompt with some instructions, which is basically telling it, follow the transcript and this prompt tool and make it much longer. Give me examples of how so the proper application of each attribute. So I'm going to copy that there into Claude, and that's my prompt. And I'm going to let that do its thing. So it's just going to really expand on what ChatGPT has already produced. So this will take a little while, but you'll see that kind of create that out there. Now, like a chef, here's one I created earlier. So to give you an idea of what it's going to produce this is just all I've done is actually copied and pasted this from Claude and given it a bit of a touch up in terms of formatting. But you'll see it's got a bit of an intro as to what this is for, how to use it, the brand name usage, the language standards. And then for each of those questions, it's created an overview of that style, what we've said to ChatGPT, the principles, and then a couple of examples of, say, some original copy and how that would be improved with those principles. And you'll see that goes on for 14 odd pages. So that's steps 3 and 4. And then the last step is, well, going back to this slide, we're going to upload a drafted article, use the content style guide that we've actually just created to give it a bit of a rewrite. So we're going to go into a new, still going, it's a big long one. We're going to go into a new Claude tab here, and we're going to upload the original article that a lawyer's produced and the content guidelines that we've created. And then we're going to grab this prompt. And this prompt's really short. We just have to pre-fill a couple things. So we're going to go, okay, the content type. For this instance, it's going to be a legal update. The style and tone, you would normally have to set this, but we're just going to say, look at the document and just follow it like really closely. The language, I always just like to reiterate that it's going to be in British English, and then the target audience. So what we're going to do there is got one pre-prepared. So content type is legal update, style and tone, language, as I said. And then the target audience in this instance is health tech companies, people in charge of compliance and governance, like in-house counsel, company secretaries, or CFOs. So what this is going to do is grab that digital health event article and then use the style guide that we've created and rewrite that based on our style and tone preferences. So that's going to do its thing. So you remember one of the comments was around making it in bullet points, and it's done exactly that, which is great. explains what it's done and how it's referenced some of the style guide. But if I go, oh, actually, I want to make this a bit more flowy, we can just go back to it and put in another prompt and say, actually, I'd like this one to have more flowing sentences, and please make it about 800 words. Just as an example. And off it goes. So that's it for today's session. I wanted to open it up to Q&A now, if anyone has any questions. And I'm going to hit stop on the recording.